تقولي لما تبدا تقولي لما تسمع ماشي.
One's just going to sing.
So, closer please. So, as usual, first part of the tour, stick to me please. I will tell you all the related stories to this temple and the area, and then enough free time. You are free to hover around, enjoy the scenery around, take pictures, do whatever you want. Then, where should we meet? This is the cafeteria.
All right. Okay.
Right?
All right.
At this far end of the cafeteria is our meeting point.
Signore,
Good? Here, just before that gift shop or whatever shop.
Yes.
Yeah? This way, please.
por aquí, signore.
Yeah, we went to this one.
Seen a fat one like that.
Closer, please, Horace. Closer. Not time to hover around yet.
Once you got your woolly on, mine will be on.
So, welcome to Philae. Welcome to Philae, the temple of Isis, a temple, a house of God, should be started by a colonnade. like the entrances of the palaces, 2 rows of royal palms, 2 rows of columns. At Luxor, we have seen the columns just like papyrus or lotus, the completed open flower or the blossom. But this is Greco-Roman period. So that famous theme of columns at the Greco-Roman period, what we call it, the composite flora capitals. Variety of different flowers and sometimes 2 different flowers in one capital. This side is fully decorated. The other side is unfinished. Maybe the first 5 or 6 of them carved in the flowers, but the others not. So that means they were decorating after constructing and polishing the walls, right? Facade of a temple, as usual, a pylon, symbolizing the point of horizon, because the house of God is behind or maybe beyond the horizon. And a traditional scene decorating the facade of the temple, where you see the king, is actually Ptolemy V, Euergetes, wearing and acting like an Egyptian king, not a Greek king, wearing the Egyptian outfit, Egyptian crown, by one hand holding a very large bunch of captives from their hairlock, and the other hand he's holding his mace, ready to smack them, punishing them at the front of the goddess Isis in her temple. The top register showing him again wearing different types of Egyptian crowns, making offerings to the Egyptian, not the Greek gods. So that was the idea. Religious propaganda for political purposes. These Greek and Roman kings and sovereigns pretended they are Egyptian kings, sons of Egyptian gods, not strangers, not invaders, just sons of your own gods, Egyptians. The groove on each side and the hole on top, that was to fix the flag poles. Carrying the flags telling belongs to whom the temple or if there is any occasion going on. The entrance is flanked by 2 lions carved in granite, and they were flanked by 2 obelisks. These obelisks made at the time of Cleopatra VII. Anybody know her? Heard about her? Cleopatra VII. But early 1800s, these foreign early travelers, some of them were treasure hunters. They were traveling through the country, finding antiquities and trading them. That one called Belzoni Battista, an Italian early traveler and treasure hunter, sold one of these 2 obelisks to Sir William Banks in England to put it at the garden of Kingston Lacy House. It's a very famous house in Dorset. Anybody living near there? One day when you are passing by, you will find that obelisk in the garden of Kingston Lacy House, which is very famous there. Guess how much Sir William Banks paid Belzoni Battista as a price for the obelisk, including the delivery to UK, at 1819.
$1.
60. You was very close. 60 sterling. It was such a good deal for him. Trying to transport the other one, it submerged in the Nile or maybe the Mediterranean, and we never heard about it. So at least there is one left in the garden of Kingston Lacy House. Before getting to the main temple, let me take you through this little door, telling you an interesting story. Please.
Pamatujte, Bóg Amon Ram miał wysoko korony jako 2 pery. A Takže tady ty reliefy za každým step by step. Watch your step.
This side, that side, and look at me.
Stejně jako stejně pomohou další právě ty reliefy jsou zničený nebo škrabání, byly považovány v době začátku islámu za
That side, and look at me. Please watch your steps. Move in. Take that side and look at me. Actually, not me, the old time. Please. So, how these Greek and Roman persuaded the Egyptians that they are sons of their own gods? Definitely looking after the priests who made for them such divine birth story. And once the story being told by the priests, these people are the sound of or the voice of God on earth, will be believed. Right? So how this divine birth story to be depicted that being used by some ancient Egyptian illegitimate kings to justify their being on the throne, or being used by all the Greek and the Roman during the Greek-Roman period till they converted into Christians. Look here. Here there is a bed symbolizing a level sky with two goddesses sitting on that level sky, carrying the feet of two more people into a higher bed, a higher level sky, where the god Amun-Ra, the official god of the country, took the queen up high in the sky in a vision. The lady sniffed, inhaled the essence of the god. It filled her body. That's how she got pregnant of God. Then the father of the baby, I mean the god Amun-Ra, talking to a ram-headed god with a straight horns. He's the god Khnum, the local god of Elephantine Island, and he's the creator god, the responsible god to form the human and animal bodies on his potter's wheel. Just received the order to form the body of the baby. So you can see him sitting on his potter's wheel, forming the body of the baby. And this frog-headed lady, she's a goddess called Hecate, goddess of giving birth. She's giving life. Can you see the ankh? She's giving life to the body. Then the god Thoth, god of wisdom, the ibis-headed man. Give space to the people to pass, please. The god of wisdom in ancient Egypt, talking to the queen and giving her a scroll of papyrus. Your Majesty, you are pregnant of God, and a baby will be named so and will rule Egypt as a king. And here is birth certificate. This scene reminds me much with Saint Mary's vision and Gabriel. Toward the end of the wall, the god Khnum and the goddess Hecate holding her hands, leading her to the labor. Behind you, she's still sitting on the delivery chair that was known in ancient Egypt, and she just delivered her baby by the help of the gods and goddesses. Then the father of the baby, the god Amun-Ra, passing the baby to a goddess. That's her name, where I'm spotlighting, a square with a falcon inside. Het-Her. Now we pronounce it in Arabic Hathor, and in English Hathor. That was the cow goddess, the goddess of motherhood, beauty, music, love, blah, blah, blah. So he just gave her the baby to look after him and to raise him. That's why you can see a couple of cow-headed ladies, they are goddesses, carrying the baby on their lap, and they are breastfeeding him. So that person, his direct father was the god Amun-Ra, the official god of the country, from whoever mother, no matter, being brought up, breastfed, raised, looked after by goddesses, including the goddess Hathor. Who's better than him deserved to be the king of Egypt? So whenever I have mentioned the divine birth story, I meant this story, that some illegitimate kings justified their being on the throne, or all the Greek and Roman used it to tell the Egyptians, we are not invaders, we are not strangers, we are sons of your own gods, Egyptians. Do you remember in my other story about Horus as a baby being kept hidden between the reeds of papyrus under the protection of all gods and goddesses? We got that part of the story from the walls around us. Look at the lower register. Here are the reeds of papyrus, quite high, and all the different deities, each one carrying a knife, a spear, whatever weapon, ready to protect and defend Horus. The one, look at the end wall there, Horus as a falcon, hiding between the reeds of papyrus, like Moses in the bushes. That story I told you in 15, 20 minutes, it took some archaeologist's lifetime chasing the bits and pieces, the different parts of the stories on the different walls of the different temples, and then put it down from their own point of view, perspective. Yeah. And it came out the way I told you. So that's how our Egyptian is written. Okay, follow me back to show you another
The Museum of the American House. Here, Gastronom, Grand Face, that creating more on the wheel.
Yesterday, what we visited has included part the botanical garden. What we call it? Lord Kitchener's Island. Lord Kitchener was the general governor of Egypt and the Sudan at the old British colonial time. And in a campaign to the Sudan, he lost a very close friend. Heavy camel regiment. Him and the crew on that boat died in Sudan. So he engraved a memory letter, for them, commemorating them, and it's written in English, so you can all read it. The officers being mentioned by names and the soldiers as number of men. So that's here where Lord Kitchener commemorated his dear friend, heavy camel regiment, on the walls of this temple. The ground level was already buried in heaps of sand and silt. That's why all the graffiti, you will find them on a higher level. No, they didn't use scaffolds to reach there to engrave. No, they were standing comfortably and writing. Because that, maybe up till here, was the set. You can tell. Can you see that difference in color? Okay, at the flood season, the entire temple is underwater. Okay, maybe only the beginning of the the top part of the pylon that was above the water. But the rest of the temple is literally underwater. Dry season, the water decrease. Getting wet and dry, fungi tarnished, so that black color or dark color, it's tarnished by fungi. Yeah? While the bottom part was protected by being covered in sand, like sandpaper. That's what, and also that sand wasn't like perfectly leveled. It was like in heaps. That's why you can see the marks going up and down, depends how high was the sand. So literally they were standing here and writing here. Right? Interesting? No? Follow me, please. Watch your step. A big step here. Take this side and look at me. Please. Take this side and look at me. Further. And hand. This music will keep going on and on in my mind since I hear this on the Rababa outside. Closer, please. Step over here, please. So, that was where we were. That was the birth house, where the divine birth stood. Surrounded by columns with the composite flora capitals, and above the flora capitals you can see these beautiful ladies' faces with attached cow ears. That's one of the manifestations of the goddess Hathor, the goddess of motherhood, beauty, love, music. But look at the last face there, and tell me what impression you see in her face. Not happy, grumpy face, angry, in pain. Look at the first one before the first one. She's smiling widely. Now I'm asking you to look at them one after the other. Ancient Egyptian artisans with only a chiseler and a wooden hammer managed to change the goddess Hathor's face impression from such grumpy face into normal, into starting to smile, into smiling and smiling widely. That's what I call it, the Egyptian Gioconda, Mona Lisa. But not only with colors on the cloth, no, with a chiseler and a wooden hammer and a rock. All four sides. Why? Maybe Hathor got very upset and angry when the bloody said killed his brother Osiris. And then she got, okay, finally Osiris resurrected. And here the Isis is pregnant, got happier. Horus came and took revenge for his father's murder. That's why she's very happy. Or the other theory, you ladies, you get into the labor scared to death. It's very painful. That's what I've been told. But as you say, it's fast release pain. And nobody will be happier than you seeing your own children. So that's the other theory, maybe why. Right? Open court, symbolizing the open to light garden, as usual. Second pylon, and this little door lead us to the pillared hall, symbolizing the greenhouse. Let's see how it is.
Bueno, que salga la fachada. Que salga la fachada. Que salga la fachada. Para el trayecto largo, ¿no?
El trayecto largo habíamos sido bien cómodos. Bien cómodos.
Sacar un detalle, por ejemplo, de una cosa.
Claro.
So, we went through the garden into the greenhouse, or symbolizing the greenhouse. Pillared wood, more of flowers, partially roofed, partially roofless, so it's only decently lit up, symbolizing the greenhouse. Yeah? I have just been asked, there are a lot of figures outside being chiseled off. Everybody, honestly, everybody is blaming everybody for chiseling off these figures. And no one wants to confess. Some blaming the early extremist Christians, some others blaming the early extremist Muslims, and some others blaming the local who used the temple, the standing parts of temples as houses where they lived later on. Maybe they got scared of the black magic, that's why they chiseled them off. That's why the most of the chisel you will find it more focused on the faces, the hands, and the feet. Not to see them, not to hurt them, not to chase them. All three theories are acceptable. I mean, makes sense or logic, yeah? But nothing literally documented, and anyone, and nobody wants to confess. So, as I told you, 390 AD, the Roman decree announcing the Christianity, the official religion of the empire, and the order to close all the pagan temples. But also, I told you at Karnak, the people in Egypt, since 63 AD, they started to convert into Christians. Despite they were persecuted, tortured, whatever for this. 510 AD, this temple was closed officially as an ancient Egyptian temple, and the service stopped to be practiced. Around that time, all Egyptians around the area, they became already Christians. As Egyptians, since ever, they used to come to the temples to worship their gods and making offerings. Now they are Christians. Where to go to pray? They continued coming to the temples after they converted parts of the temples into churches. That's why you can see on the columns here, there, out, crosses, including what you call a Maltese cross is actually the Coptic cross. Because this area, this pillar pool, was actually converted into a church. As they used one of the pedestals of the sacred parts from the sanctuary, they made it as an altar. They cut the niche of the altar at the back wall, where they used to keep the communion equipment and the Holy Bible. You can find it around the corner of Egypt. You can take pictures of it. Okay, we can get info. What's your step, please? So that's what converted into a church during the Christian era, from the 5th century on. 6th century. It is right there in the picture. Take a picture and join me here. Bronze and ancient time, or depends what they are carving. If limestone, sandstone, or harder ones, usually bronze, because iron that haven't been discovered till Roman period. If harder stone, then a harder heads of chisels of rocks. Also, you can see some Coptic graffiti. Coptic writings, it looks Greek, but it sounds Egyptian. Because we use the most of the Greek alphabet together with 7 letters of the Demotic, one of the shorthands of the hieroglyphic writings. The whole lot pronounced the Egyptian, not the Greek pronunciation of the letters. So it looks Greek, but it sounds Egyptian.
Mira.
Lo que me llama la atención de aquí es que es como muy asimétrico, desde la fachada.
I didn't find it, that's what I
The share news, the last thing, and then well,
Aquí abajo los santuarios con hablamos de flores de las esencias. Sacamos una foto.
Horas,
Vamos saliendo fuera otra vez. Otra vez vamos saliendo fuera. ¿Ya? Por aquí a la derecha.
offering hall, like dining rooms, where tables and offerings, loaded with all different types of food and offerings for the god, serving the goddess, making her offerings. And then follow me to that corner. Take a quick picture and follow me into this corner here. Yeah, I'm here.
That one.
Yes.
Why was none of this painted? Why was none of this painted?
The temple for 80 years used to submerge underwater, and so all the paintings being washed out.
It was painted.
It was. Every single temples we visited or we can visit, when they were intact, they were all decorated, painted, and even patterned. Like what we have seen in Karnak, for example, or in the Valley of the Kings. All of them, not just inside and outside. Here you can see Ptolemy the 12th, the father of Cleopatra the 7th, known as the flute player. It was his hobby. Come closer, please. He's offering the papyrus flowers and a long list of offerings to the triad of the temple. Here you can see Osiris, depicted first, and he's left up high on a pedestal. Safwat, the temple is for Isis. Why the bloody Osiris is advancing? Okay, the ancient Egyptian artisans considered few tips, hinting to the difference in importance between the different characters. Osiris was the king of gods for afterlife, equal to Ra. He's a higher rank god, he's a more important god. That's why he's depicted first, and even he's left up higher on a pedestal. Second important, Isis, she's following him, not for being a wife or a lady, no. Just because she, as a rank gods and goddesses, she's the second important. Third important, Horus the baby, their son. But what a tall baby, as tall as his parents. But there were three features. If we see them three, or at least one of them, we would recognize that the person depicted is still a child, not an adult. Feature number one side hairline. Feature number two is sucking his finger. He's hungry. Feature number three, his masculine or feminine organs, it's not covered. It's only a baby. Right? Take picture of it and follow me to show you also what's in the surroundings.
Signore, venite avanti, grazie. Entrate di salute.
So just wait me outside the door, please. Horus, I'm here. You can't run away.
I know, we don't want
Horus, I'm here. Wait me outside the door, please. Sticks in the guma. حد تاني وراك؟ وراهم؟ Please.
Desde arriba. Otra escena la vamos a ver aquí.
Horus! Despite the temple we visited was the last temple to be constructed, the last to get decorated, the last to get closed. But saving that temple from the original island, shortly I will show you where from, to here, we found a lot of surrounding ruins. For a tourist, it's meaningless. It's only ruins. Why you bothered moving them? As Egyptologists, I will tell you these ruins were the proof that the original island was dedicated for the cult of Isis as far as 3200 BC till 510 AD. For example, such ruined platform, no art, no constructions, no nothing, only a platform of a temple, but date back to 2000 BC, Middle Kingdom. That's why we meant to move it here as well. A wall and a half, and mostly the decorations gone. But it dates back to Tutmosis III, 18th dynasty. Take a side, please. Allow the people to go through. 18th dynasty, 1500 BC. Also be moved. The other side, we found some ruins, similar plan of a temple like this, 3000 BC. So all the way through Old Kingdom, Middle Kingdom, New Kingdom, Greek-Roman period till the end, such original island was dedicated for the cult of Isis. Follow me around. I will show you or point to you where whatever we saw here was originally located. Please. For this life and another goes for afterlife.
Ahora la pregunta importante, ¿dónde estaba ubicado el templo antes? Había 4 palos
Before pointing the old location of the temple, let me show you this. Can you see what the king is offering to the goddess Sekhmet, the lioness-headed lady? Goddess of war, bat, and a ball. In the States, they have a very famous game called baseball. In ancient Egypt, we had a similar game. Long before the States to be discovered at all. Right? Now, look the other side, please. Can you see these steel bars still sticking out of the water? That's traces or remains of the double steel barrier, the cover dam, that we made around the original island. Every single rock you have seen visiting this island, or you will see, used to be originally there. 40,000 pieces of rocks, 40,000 blocks had to be dismantled, moved, and reassembled again. Despite Upper Egypt is that dry heat, it doesn't rain, but all ancient Egyptian temples used to be equipped with gargoyles. Can you see this merging lines head from the wall there? That's nothing but a gargoyle. But let me tell you, it's not the Greek or the Roman who brought it with them. I told you they improved the capitals of colors. But the temple of Hatshepsut, 1500 BC, that we visited on the first day, it used to have a gargoyle. Other temples, proper ancient Egyptian time, 1 and 2000 BC, all of them equipped by gargoyles. That just in case one day it rains or it rains heavily, all the pavement, I mean the ceiling of the temples, made with a gentle slope toward the gargoyles to drain the rainwater. What time is it now? Yes, sir. Just a watch tower, or like I said. It's not even not in use. Okay, it's 8:15. Let's say 8:45, half an hour free time. Take pictures, enjoy the scenery, enjoy a coffee on the cafeteria if you want, and you will find me waiting for you at the end of the cafeteria to make our way down together, finding our boat.
I don't see why I have to come so early. You're going to go round where he's already been, are you? Not the rest of the place. We won't have time. Rush.
Quella c'è ancora, che il tempio di Hathor, la nuora di Isis, la Monitor. E qua vediamo proprio la diga vecchia. Bene, ecco. E lui è rimasto nell'arco.
Should we go inside? Or that way?
We're going round maybe just big, aren't we?
Or around the outside?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't get to it.
Qua era accumulata la sabbia. Qua c'era tanta sabbia. Non vedevano niente.
Día de la Madre el séptimo día, es el día de la bendición, y de ahí los sagrados que es el número 7.
It's called Hophitic letters. Okay? So Hieroglyphic, Heretic, Domitic, and Hobbitic. The Hieroglyphic means inside this, inside this. Okay, Heretic is the Hobbitic is the way
¿Quién no va a coger el machete? Ahora saca el machete.
¿Eh?
No quería torturarte, por eso no...
Ah, pero ella dice que le da igual.
Kingston Lacey. Royal Knickers.
No, pero lo que te quiero
Vamos, que aquí de fritas. Oye, es que no nos da tiempo a correr. ¿Y si pasamos por detrás?
Venga, ya.
Venga, vete.
Ya.
1, 2. Corre.
Ahora tú, venga.
Nie, za murkiem musisz. Mama za drugim murkiem. Nie, Dalia, tutaj za tym murkiem. Dalia tutaj przy tym murku się chowa, a mama stoi za drugim.
Vamos a la puerta, o sea, a la fachada bonita.
Il y a une autre partie, ne finit pas.
Vamos a ver cosas.
Did we go to that one there? Oh right, sorry. I asked you to go first.
Ahora familia, ahora tenemos media hora para dar vueltas y sacar fotos. Familia, tenemos media ahora 8:30. Nos vemos en 8:30 ahora. Hay una cafetería aquí. Nos vemos a las 9 en la cafetería. ¿Ok? También voy a sentar en la cafetería. Si alguien quiere sacar fotos, si quiere chequear los cartuchos de los jugantes, pueden sentar aquí. Allí entra yo que solo tendré. Mohamed, he dividido un trabajo, un ojo, el cartucho. Voy a sentar en la cafetería. Pero tenemos media hora para dar un cartucho. ¿Ok? Ya lo va a hacer muy bien. Lo va a hacer muy bien. Lo va a hacer muy bien. Nos vemos en la cafetería.
Allez tout le monde, merci beaucoup. Hein. Vous les photos pour vous. Non, non, non.
Lasciamo il
Io penso, vai,
See the dark line of the water? No,
他70年代才搬的。那70年代搬到我这儿的。